Once you make this 30-minute recipe, you're going to be whipping up shrimp and grits for breakfast, brunch, and dinner. Creamy stone-ground grits are served up with pan-seared blackened shrimp and tons of Cajun flavor. And since this is Evolving Table, where we make healthier spins on classic recipes, you know that this one is going to be good for you too. So let's jump straight in and get to cooking. The part that takes the longest to cook is the grits, so let's start there. I'm using stone ground grits today, which are different from regular or quick cooking. They still have the corn kernel pericarp and germ, which gives them extra vitamins, minerals, and of course, incredible texture. They do take a little bit longer to cook, but y'all, they are totally worth the wait. You can also either choose to use white corn or yellow corn grits. They taste pretty similar, so really it's just a preference of color. Place a medium-sized pot over medium heat and add 3 cups of vegetable or chicken broth. The broth is going to give the grits great flavor, but you can always use water if that's what you have available. And 1 cup of milk. This is my secret to getting ultra creamy grits without any cheese. Since the grits are going to be cooking in the milk, they end up getting this super soft and tender texture. I've experimented with oat milk and cashew milk and they both work great. Just make sure you get the full fat kind. If you want an even creamier texture, you can always opt for regular cow's milk or even heavy cream. Bring the broth and milk to a boil, and then add in 1 cup of grits. Give them a good stir, and wait until the liquid comes back up to a boil. Reduce the heat to medium-low. Cover the pot with a lid and let cook for 20 to 25 minutes. And be sure to give the grits a good stir every 5 to 10 minutes. If the grits just sit there, they'll end up turning into a clumpy mess instead of a creamy delight. Now that we've got our grits cooking, it's time to move on to those delicious pan-seared shrimp. And guys, I have a little secret. We're actually using a bit of bacon in them for both the grease as well as the flavor. So you'll first want to start with 4 to 5 strips of bacon, or about 4 ounces, and cut them into small pieces. Add these to a large skillet over medium heat and cook for 8 to 10 minutes. Or until they're crispy and cooked through. Remove the bacon from the skillet using a slotted spoon. You want to reserve all of that flavor-packed bacon grease for later, and let it drain on a paper towel-lined plate. Make sure you've reserved 2 tablespoons of bacon grease and drain out any extra. You can also completely remove this and replace it with a healthier oil option if you'd prefer. Add half a cup of finely chopped sweet onion and half a cup of finely chopped red bell pepper. Cook for 3 minutes or until softened. Mix in 3 cloves of finely minced garlic and continue sauteing for another minute. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna go ahead and give those grits another stir. Next, we'll be adding in those shrimp. I've got a pound of a medium to larger size shrimp, or about a 21 to 25 count per pound. These have been peeled, deveined, but still have their tails on. If you can't find these at your store, you can always buy the easy peel kind that have already been deveined. To remove the peel but keep the tail on, you'll want to hold the tail with one hand while removing the peel adjacent to it. Once that's been torn, pinch the bottom of the shell and gently slide it off. Repeat this process with the remaining shrimp. Push the vegetables to the side of the skillet and add the shrimp in a single layer. Sprinkle 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of Cajun seasoning over them, depending on your desired spice level. You can use a store-bought one such as Tony's or Slap Your Mama, or you can even make your own at home. Cook the shrimp for 1 to 2 minutes per side, or until they become opaque and their tails begin to curl. Pour in 1/4 cup of additional chicken or vegetable broth and scrape the bottom of the pan to deglaze it. You want to make sure to get all of those flavorful bits in your dish. Add the bacon back into the skillet to warm it up. Now let's check on those grits. They look amazing, creamy and smooth. To add even more flavor, we'll be mixing in 3 tablespoons of butter. A vegan buttery stick can also be used if you're avoiding dairy. 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt to taste, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. If you insist on having cheesy grits, you can also mix in 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar cheese at this point, but please at least try them first without it. You'll probably be surprised how delicious they already are. Stir the grits until everything is well mixed. If your grits start to get a little bit too thick before you're ready to eat, you can always add in a bit more broth or milk to thin them out. Serve 5 to 6 shrimp over the grits with 1 tablespoon of chopped green onions and 1 tablespoon of chopped parsley. Oops, totally forgot. You want to make sure and take those tails off. There we go. Much better. Oh yes, all those big, bold Cajun flavors. This is totally taking me back to all of those trips to New Orleans as a kid. And if you want another great Cajun dish, then you have got to check out the shrimp and sausage gumbo that starts with a homemade roux. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll see you in the next one.